The Godfather 2 by EA Games is one of those games of rapidly diminishing returns. It's got about everything you'd expect from an open world game with the addition of a strategic mode called Dawn's View. In Dawn's View you can do a variety of activities such as upgrading your fellow mobsters, your crew, which you gather throughout the game, sending that crew out to different buildings to act as guards, different things like that. It's cool looking, but after a couple of hours playing the game, it becomes very obvious that it's more for looks than it is functionality. I found that I really would rather be doing these things than ever sending out guys to do the tasks that they asked you to do. It didn't make me feel like the leader of a mob. It made me feel like someone tasked with maintenance, like a janitor telling your mobsters, you need to go do this. Never felt rewarding. Much like most of the game didn't feel very rewarding. Talking to people was cheesy most of the times. The graphics, environment-wise, looked pretty good, but people-wise, looked pretty weak. Especially up close, the game's visuals fall apart. Very jaggy, crooked lines, that kind of thing. The open world structure is probably the biggest problem with Godfather 2 because every area you go to is very, very small. Seems like every area consists of about 5 roads interconnected. Not very much interesting visually to look at. As far as driving around goes, it might look pretty, but it's not really that interesting to navigate. While story should be a big strength of this game, seeing as it's following the story of one of the greatest movies of all time, it all kind of wears thin. You're not one of the main players, even though the game puts you in supposedly a main player. Your character is never seen in the movies, and it feels like a tacked-on character, which is exactly what it ends up being. Your crew have some personality, but not a personality that I would really like to hang around with at all. They can be useful. They have skills such as opening safes and planting explosives and doing a bunch of stuff that in the end I wish your character could just learn how to do in the first place. It seems a bit crazy that I'm supposed to be this Don, this leader of a mob, and I don't know how to cut down a fence. I don't really buy that for a second. On the plus side, the combat's pretty good. You can hide behind cover, the guns are good, the punching is good, it feels like you're actually doing the activity, which I guess is a good thing if you feel like punching someone in the face, which I do sometimes, but I don't do it. I would like to punch the guys who made The Godfather 2 in the face because they did a stupid thing. They let their game come out before it was done. I can understand how that happens. What happens is your publisher wants the game out, they've allotted you a certain amount of money to spend making the game, and you have surpassed that allocated time and money. I'm just going to leave that in there. So, it's one of those catch-22 situations. In the end, EA would have been smart to let the game ruminate a little bit more and perfect lots of the imperfections. I really wish that the areas were bigger. That's the biggest flaw to me. I can put up with lots of things. Bugs I can understand. Some are pretty bad though, such as when you're talking to someone on the side of the road and the crowd around you just keeps walking into the person you're talking to, shifting them weirdly around the screen. I was going to capture some video of that while I talked about it, while I talked about it I should say, but I decided to do what EA did with this game and just leave it unfinished. So, haha EA, that's what you get. I also was going to spend some time re-editing this video so that it made sense and matched up with what I'm talking about, but again, I decided to be like EA and leave it unfinished. So, that's my review of Godfather 2. It is an unfinished game. I really wish they had spent the time making it good because it could have been good. The ideas such as Don's View is an interesting idea if it had any real depth whatsoever. I wish upgrading your character was more fun. It seems like that could have been a cool thing. The cars are okay. The graphics are good but don't hold up when you get close. And that's the general story with the whole Godfather 2. It looks good but it doesn't hold up upon repeated playing. I did never test out the multiplayer because honestly I had no interest in continuing playing the game. I usually don't like reviewing a game before I finish it, but again, much like EA, I decided to leave the game unfinished because they left the game unfinished. So, sorry if I burst any bubbles there. Maybe you should wait until it gets down to around $30 and pick it up then. It might be worth it. So, that's my review. Thanks for watching, guys. Come to overdose.com to see different news, reviews, and our podcast, which plays on geeksradio.fm on Mondays at 10. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Listen to me.